that I found out years later.
Why do you call it infidelity if this was the setup of
Because
the relationship?
he lied. Because for 2 years, it was a lie.
Yeah.
When I thought it was fine, it was a lie. Through the engagement, it was happening.
When a man is ready to commit to a woman, I said this before, I'll say it again. He will move heaven and hell to make sure he makes that woman his for life. What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to Roll the Clip TV. I'm your host, Roberto. So let me tell y'all something. So relationships, marriage in and of itself is a beautiful thing. And it's only for the mature and grown. So I'm about to do a reaction video. My wife and I have been watching this show called Family and Fiance off the OWN network. I pray to God the YouTube don't flag me with it, but I thought there's some principles in the show. There's a couple of different episodes I want to go through with you guys, but this particular episode is all about red flags. And so my message to my brothers and my message to my sisters out there, for those of you who are in the dating stage or in the proposal stage, I want to look at some red flags. I'm going to say this, y'all. When a man is ready to commit to a woman, I said this before, I'll say it again. He will move heaven and hell to make sure he makes that woman his for life. A real man. Not talking about boys, ain't talking about males, we're talking about men of emotional intelligence, as the millennials say. This gentleman right here, though, y'all, that we're about to do a reaction to, the jury's out on this one. I tried to find out where their current relationship was today. I don't know where it is. I couldn't find any more information about them. And of course, their last names were not given. I couldn't find any social media links. So if you guys know this couple, drop me a link. But anyway, because this is, and I'm not beating up on this particular couple or homeboy, but I want to bring these points out to highlight when a man is not ready. Ladies, y'all can't push him. Roll the clip.
Engaged.
Just over a year now.
How'd you guys meet?
It started off, we were just friends. I never thought I'd be even talking to her.
Why not?
He wasn't a relationship guy.
I wasn't really.
What kind of guy were you?
What kind of guy were you, Corey?
I was just enjoying life, having fun.
Okay. Were you exclusive in the beginning? She was.
Yeah, no, she was. She definitely was.
And what was your mindset? I'm fascinated by stuff like this.
Wait a minute. She definitely was. Anytime you're in a situation, anytime you're in a relationship where one person is exclusive, my brothers and sisters, that's not a relationship. That's not a relationship. Anytime, let me say a little bit slower, y'all. Anytime you're in a relationship where one person is exclusive and the other person is out there running you're not in a relationship.
I'm like, how are you dealing with that?
My level of acceptance came with a level of openness and expectation from him. I don't want my son just to see me, flinging around or anything. I want him to know what a family should look like. I thought that at some point you would choose me to say that ultimately this is monogamous.
Okay. Did you have that understanding?
Yes, I did.
So the proposal, what happened?
I wasn't expecting that at all because I thought
you were
it was,
happy?
Oh yeah. Because to me, he was choosing me. I was what he wanted.
Were there?
Oh, let me jump in here real quick, y'all. So she had an expectation. And she wanted him to choose her. So in the proposal, that was him choosing her. No. No. I'm going to come back to that, y'all.
Any bumps along the way?
Of course.
What's the biggest one?
Infidelity.
Is there one or is there... Tell me about this.
The bigger one is the one that lasted for years, that I found out years later.
Why do you call it infidelity if this was the setup of
Because
the
he lied.
relationship?
Because for 2 years, it was a lie.
Yeah.
When I thought it was fine, it was a lie. Through the engagement, it was happening. before the engagement, it was happening. That was what hurt the most, was because then I felt that it was an emotional attachment. It wasn't just sex.
I have a question of you, Kori. If you're in a relationship with somebody else that you haven't disclosed, what would make you decide that's a good time to propose?
I knew throughout everything Candance is who I wanted to be with.
Were you worried that she was going to leave you?
Yes.
Did you commit to ending the other relationship?
And that's why he proposed.
Yes.
And did you end it?
Yes.
Do you question that?
Do I think he ended it? Yes. Do I think at one point he's just gonna reach out just because? I don't know.
Do you think at one point you're going to reach out just because? That's a maybe.
That's a maybe. That's a maybe. Listen. So in this life that we live, y'all. Okay, there's some people who want to be single. They don't want to be they don't want to get into a relationship, or they're afraid to get into a relationship. But the majority of the world wants to be in a committed relationship, monogamous relationship. The sane people in the world want to be. And so I find these videos very, very interesting because, as I stated before, my wife actually does a lot of coaching to women in this situation, especially a lot of young women. The value systems in this generation are completely different than my Gen X generation. Although Gen X we had some ish with us, and our generations before us had some ish with us. And it's always this thing. It's always this thing where when a man cheats, it's acceptable. But when a woman does it, we call all kind of names. I've seen these situations where, excuse me, y'all. I've seen these situations where, oh, well, he's a man. Oh, he's a man. Listen, at some point in time, we got to start having a different conversation. At some point in time, we have to start having some type of accountability. Being a man doesn't give me the right to step out on my wife. And then on the reverse side, when a woman does it, she gets called all kind of names. There's a double standard in the world today. I'm gonna say in America because I don't know about other countries, but there's a double standard. But more than that, fam, there's some red flags in this situation, and y'all can go back and watch the entire episode. But in this particular situation, he thought he was about to lose it, and he didn't want her. I truly, truly believe that he wants her. But he wants that. He wants his cake. He wants the cake. He wants the pie and everything that comes along with it. And that's not how a marriage should start. Anytime you're starting a relationship from this particular negative standpoint, I'm not gonna say that he or a man won't change, but the likelihood of him changing, if it's already acceptable, is far to none. That's just real talk, y'all. So I believe he proposed because he felt threatened, he felt forced that she was going to pick up her bags and go. Although I do see some weakness in here, I don't think she would have anywhere. But this was not him choosing her. This was him saying, "Let me do enough so you don't walk away." One of the things I like about this show, listen, there's some of this show I really don't like. I don't believe that a mature. I've seen couples on here who are my age trying to get their family's approval about marriage. No, if I made my decision. I ain't had nothing to drink, y'all. I made my decision to choose my wife, and come hell or high water, I don't care who likes it and who doesn't like it. That's my choice, my decision, because I'm grown. Now, if you're a little bit younger and your family dynamic is a little bit different, okay. But nevertheless, in this particular situation, we got to start looking at the red flags. You cannot be in a situation where you're constantly forgiving for infidelity. That's a different ball game, y'all. Anytime you have a marriage or a relationship and one male or female, whoever steps out, that relationship is now gone. That marriage is now over. Now we have to either, I'm old school. We all gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away. But I get it. when you're emotionally entangled in a situation, it's not that simple. So all I'm saying is that we got to pay attention to the red flags, and you cannot force a man who is not ready to get married to put a ring on your finger and walk down the aisle. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about this too. There was another clip on YouTube we watched, not this show, but this young lady had not forced, let me not say that. She wanted to get married so bad. She gave this man the world, bought him clothes, bought him a car. Long story short, he ended up harming her. Finally, like, anyway, you guys get my point. Like, he's in jail now. He wasn't ready. I don't know. Their issue was she eventually realized he wasn't ready, and he was going to keep running around and cheating and lying and stealing. And so she just said, I had enough. And then when it comes to that point, all hell broke loose. And I think that's the danger zone. That's the conversation that we have to have. And that, it's one of them things too, as men, where we have to hold each other accountable. My wife said this to me too, and it causes me to look at myself. I don't have a bunch of friends. My circle is very, very small. But there are times when you're out in public and men say certain rude things, and my wife said to me one time, yeah, but sometimes you giggle and laugh like you're agreeing with him, and I'm like, no, I'm just, a lot of times I'm just in my head calling somebody an idiot, and I just want to get the hell away. But at the same time, sometimes my silence speaks volumes. And so there is this double standard when it comes to relationships. And I really believe that it is far time that if you say you're going to commit to a woman, to my brothers, it's okay, then commit. If it's a relationship that you're looking for, it's okay to commit. In this situation, he did not cut the other person off. And she said years, not a day. It wasn't somebody creeping overnight. It was years. So now we're talking about emotional entanglement. He had two women emotionally entangled, and this was his thing. Clearly, he said that he wasn't a relationship guy, and this was his thing. And so that's one of the situations that as a man, you got to ask yourself. Are you willing to say that it's all or nothing? Are you willing to say, hey, look, I'm going to put everybody aside. I'm going to commit myself. I'm going to dedicate myself to this woman because I love her. And I see a future with this one individual. That's a heavy conversation that we as men have to have. And I wish, I would love to have that conversation with a bunch of men on this platform, because I think it's for long overdue. We had the Kevin Samuels dog. And, Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, I get what he was doing. But we have all these conversations where the women dog the men out, the men dog the women out. But where's the conversation where we all can grow? Where I can look at the mistakes I did when I was younger, when I can look at some of the BS I caused in my younger years. And more so, how did I get to the place where I am today at 53 years old? It's just, I made a decision, y'all. And unlike any other time in my life, I went through this checklist. I was talking to God. And God was like, hey, are you ready to give up this? Yes. And God's like, are you sure that's my daughter? You understand what I'm saying? That's my daughter. When a biological father has respect and honor for his daughter, me as the man, my responsibility is to not pick up where he left off, but pick up where he was and now help my wife grow and expand beyond his wildest dreams. So if that's a biological father, what are we talking about? We're talking about God. We're talking about our Creator. That's a whole nother level of responsibility. So I look at my man in this particular video, and I do applaud him for coming on the show, and he did make some progress, but it's only 3 days. I'm gonna tell y'all something. The whole premise of the show is great. I love to see black couples talking. I love to see our people talking and having these conversations. The younger generations wanting to commit, wanting to be in a relationship. So I love that aspect of it, but it's only 3 days. I'm going to say this to every single couple under the sound of my voice, young, if you're young, if you're under my age, under 50 years old, and you're in love, let me say this. It's all about the process. It's something I had to learn in my life this time around with my babe. It's about the process. I've been wrong about a lot of things in our relationship in terms of my attitude, things like that. Life's pressures. We ain't talking about no infidelity stuff. I'm talking to y'all because a lot of times couples don't, a lot of older couples have this thing, well, y'all are just young. No, everything takes time to develop and mature, and both people have to be growing at the same pace. In this situation, it's like this. She's ready to commit and have a family with her son, and he's still got stragglers laying around. It's unbalanced. And so I think the conversation now is just about, how do we get balance? Where does balance come from? Number one, for me, it starts with God. You have to have some kind of spiritual foundation, because when I don't understand things in our marriage, when I'm trying to learn and trying to grow, I can have a habit of leaning on myself. You can read books, you can do it, but there's sometimes where you just need God. There's sometimes where you just need God. And the ish it's not cookie cutterish. Every relationship is different. You cannot look at the pastor and his wife, or the marriage expert and her husband, or these couples on TV. No, because everybody's personality is different. It's not cookie cutterish. I grew up in the inner city. I grew up in the hood. I grew up around the crack epidemic. So my mindset sometimes, I think I'm still recovering from the 80s, y'all. Shout out to my Gen X people. I think I'm still recovering from the 80s. My wife grew up in a very different environment. So she brings her environment to this situation. I bring my environment to this situation. And so in that, when we commit to one another, now it's about, okay, how do we grow? How do we take these two huge environments and make them one environment and grow from that perspective? And that is the question. And that takes time, and it takes God, and it takes dedication, and it takes, baby, I'm sorry, honey, I didn't listen to you the first time. It takes all of these things. And at the end of the day, the one thing it takes, and what I did not hear my man saying is this: I don't see life without her. Period. I don't see life without her. I don't see life without him. I ain't talking about no infatuation. I can't eat, I can't sleep, because love ain't gonna do that to you. Make no mistake about it, y'all. Love has some bunch of feelings, but love is always gonna make sure you eat. Love is always gonna make sure you sleep. Love, it doesn't come to harm. The Bible says love is kind, is gentle. I'm still learning to be kind and gentle. To be gentle, not so much kind. To be gentle, because I grew up very harsh. But it's a process. And in this process, we let go of everything that was behind. We let go of everything that was in our past. We let go of those individuals in our past. There is no late night phone calls. There is no brothers, when you make a decision to commit to that individual, it's you and her in the ocean, in the boat, in the ship, wherever you want to be, and that's it. It's not mommy, it's not daddy, it's not uncle, it's not your sister, it's not all these other people trying to jump on board. It is you and her. You don't have people hanging around. I hope y'all pick up, I hope if you're going through this that you can at least identify, you know what, I need to work on this, or I need to shut this down, or I need to be more consistent here. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones. I hope I was able to at least drive the point home to offer some type of help, encouragement that just because the outside world may not understand your love. You get what I'm saying? The outside world may not understand your love. The outside world, it's impossible for them to understand my wife and I's love, because it's our love. We don't share that with nobody. It's the two of us. Just the two of us can make it if we try. Just the two. All right, y'all, I'm done. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe at the end of this freaking video. Thank y'all for checking out Roller Clip TV. Thank y'all for supporting this channel. Y'all do me a favor. Y'all should drop me a comment. tag somebody to this video. Share this video for me, all right? I'll be back with the next video. Thank y'all. I'm out. Peace.
Something to say. Hey, you got something to say.